What's up gamers, it's Low Budget Gamer here, and today we're trying Last of Us 2 and I'll be giving the best setting possible on my current specs. My current specs are RTX 3050 laptop GPU with 4 GB DDR6 memory. My CPU is 11 Gen i5 at 3.2 GHz of clock speed, and my memory is 32 GB at 3200 mega transfer per second. As you can see, my available RAM is only 17 GB. That's due to my iGPU that shares the memory with it. But the performance will not be affected. So let's go and let's get it on. So we are in game right now, and the settings that I'm using right now are I'm using exclusive full screen at 1080p native DLAA. Yeah, it's not playable as of now. I'm playing in very low setting. It's mainly due to the processor, to be honest. Like, I tried the same GPU in other processors, the RTX 3050 of course, like for the laptop. That gave more performance, like around 10 FPS more than this. So I think it's processor issue for this game. As you can see, the processor is ramping up to 3.2 GHz, 3.4 GHz, but it's not able to utilize its full potential of the GPU. And like, so that we are getting only 20 FPS at DLAA, very low. Always native. It's kind of not playable, to be honest. Like, it's not even cinematic, to be honest. Right now, it's not at all cinematic, unless it goes to 24. Yeah, now it's kind of cinematic, if you want to believe that. But I wouldn't ask you to play at these settings because it's a no-go. It's not a good setting. It has some like delays also, like while moving the mouse and like while pressing the button. You saw I left the button, but like it takes a while before it gets registered. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I can say you that very low DLA native, you cannot play this game at native for at least this GPU, for at least for this processor and this GPU combination. So we are back into the game. I've restarted and I've changed the settings. It's still very low, but I have turned on DLSS. It's in transformer model, mind you. I have not done it in Legacy because Legacy has a lot of flickering, and the upscaling is quality right now. I'll drop it down later in the video, but as of now, I'm still running at very low. I'll give you a good setting, to be honest, like a good best setting for this game to play at around 30 FPS so that you can enjoy the visuals with the FPS. You won't be getting 60 FPS in this game, in this processor and this GPU, but I can make sure that you get 30 FPS at least, and you also get a good visual quality also with that. So let's count the FPS for quality. We're getting around 5 FPS more. It was 15 FPS in this area last time in DLA. Okay, we just jump. Why isn't he jumping? Why can't he jump? So like, it's right now 20 FPS, 21 FPS. Right now it has more things in the screen right now. So like more details in the screen. So yeah, it's getting 5 to 6 FPS more. You'll probably get 2-3 more FPS when you're playing in your side, because you won't be recording the game. Right now I'm recording the game, and so we are getting around a bit less of a performance, like 3 FPS, 2 FPS less. So kindly count that in your, while you're seeing this, kindly count that in also. So I'm back into the game again after restarting and changing the settings. My current settings are low, and on display I'm going with reflex on with boost, with DLSS transformer quality, playing in native full screen. Let's count the FPS again. Kind of giving the same FPS, to be honest. Like, as I said, there's a bottleneck from the CPU, so that's why we're getting the same FPS kind of.
Heads
as
up,
you can
you're the talk
see,
of the town this morning.
it's a cinematic experience, to be honest. 25 FPS, 24
Let me see
FPS.
if I got this right. You
I'm
just
not using
beat
frame generation right
She
now,
kissed
but
me.
I will.
which triggered Seth to
And
call
I'll
you
show you.
not so
I feel
nice
like the
word.
frame generation in this game has some bugs or
Then
something.
Joel
Like
decked him,
whenever I move the mouse,
and then
it
you got
kinds
mad
of
at Joel.
has
That
some
part confused me.
like issues,
It was a
like
strange night.
motion issues. It gives some artifacts,
Sounds
like
exciting.
I'm seeing too many things together or something like that.
Maria wants a word with you.
Where is she?
The diner.
Is this about Seth?
No clue.
Just tell her you never saw me.
When there are lots of people in around you in screen, the FPS kinds of tanks, because as you can see, my CPU uses is 92%. It's a CPU bottleneck. Okay, come here, doggy, come here. Wait, come here. Let me
Hey, old timer.
pet you.
Yeah, get a
Oh.
good scratch.
I noticed we need to kill dogs in this game, and I feel so sad. So we are back again. I saved the settings to 1080p on boost. Frame generation is on FSR. DLSS is still on transformer and quality. And my graphics settings are currently at low. And our processor wasn't bottlenecking our GPU. Although it shows 99%, that's because I'm recording right now. So the percentage is higher. But the GPU is getting bottlenecked by the CPU a lot. Oh, we get
Hey, old
pet him
timer.
again.
Yeah, get a good scratch.
And that's why the performance is kind of all over the place. It's in, if you have a 11400H
Oh, hi.
i5, you probably get more FPS, like around 60, around 60 you'll get easily.
When you go out, I want you to trade off with Tommy and Joel. Those boys have been up for far too long.
You just
do I
have
make
some flickering issues.
If you go up to the northwest,
I do
lookout,
notice
you're scheduled to
some
arrive there
flickering
today.
issues in
Watch yourself.
FSR,
There's too many sightings
of
of infected
FSR
recently.
frame generation, to be
Of
honest.
course.
I guess you can
I
notice
was
it
gonna check
too.
out the creek trails.
It does have
I'll
some
need someone else
weird
to cover it.
artifacting.
Ellie, you know the creek trails?
Not really.
Dina's done it a bunch. I'll have the two of them take it.
Well, that's all
It's
it's not.
like, and the FPS is kind of minimal, to be honest.
Ellie,
I guess we're getting around
I touch
20
your
FPS and also. And now I'll give you the best possible settings for this GPU and this processor combined with best fidelity and best FPS or frames you can get. The settings are: level of detail should be at high. It will make the game look better. Texture should always be at low. Medium only when you have 8 GB GPU or 6 GB GPU. Texture filtering bilinear. Shadow quality high. Screen space shadows high. Image based lighting on. You should always turn this on, or else the game looks very dull. Bounce lighting off. Ambient occlusion quality. Screen space reflections high. Real time reflections quality low. Real time cloud shadows reflection off. Even if you turn it on or off, it'll, no matter what, it'll show the shadows anyway. Screen space subsurface scattering on. Refraction quality, you can set a low, medium, high, and no FPS difference. And also, there's no graphical changes. I don't know, it's bugged maybe, but motion blur is your subjective. Depth of quality is subjective. Bloom, subjective. Particle density is subjective, but also, if you want more performance, go with low. If you want more particles in your screen, like when there's more particles, it will tank the FPS, but without particles, it will not. Volumetric effects always low because it will take up your GPU performance and also CPU performance. Lens flare full resolution, and other than that, all these settings are just your preference and nothing else. And with that, the display settings that I'm gonna go with is 1080p native, not native, is 1080p. And with that, the display setting that I'm getting is 1080p full screen with frame generation on, and NVIDIA Reflex should always be on with frame generation. DLSS transformer model with performance. In performance, you won't notice any flickering in your 15-inch screen, especially in this game. The transformer model is so good, it will get you less FPS, 4 FPS lesser, frames lesser, but the overall picture quality that you get in performance, it will be much better than a legacy version. Even even the quality of legacy has a lot of flickering and simmering issues, but transformer models, it doesn't have. It has very good quality with next to no flickering or shimmering. So let's count the FPS now, like how much we are getting in these settings. As you can see, it's 47 FPS, 48 FPS. You're getting 2 to 3 FPS more because of I'm recording right now, so it's getting used. My GPU is getting used also. So you'll be getting 4 to 3 FPS more in this setting. And as you can see, the performance is quite decent, 40, 50. You're getting 50 plus FPS when you're not recording. It'll be much more stable also. You'll probably notice some jitters now. That won't be visible when you're playing the game because you won't be doing recording and stuff. Without recording, the game performs much better. Because right now, our CPU and GPU, our CPU is the bottleneck part. So the game is kind of tanking the FPS a bit during all the scenes. But without that, you'll notice next to none of this flickering. And also, you'll get much better FPS with that. As you can see, the game keeps on using the CPU more and more as you go further. It keeps on trying to load the shaders and compile them. And that's why mainly the performance hit is much more in this particular CPU. If you have another CPU like 5600 or if you have an 11400 CPU i5, you won't be facing these issues. But this is the best you can get in this currently, like for this use case. And this is you'll get around 50 more FPS. Not 50 more FPS, you'll get around 50 FPS. I'm just recording, so you can see again it's now 100% UHS.
Shit.
So the settings will be on display right now, and you can tell me how it performed for you and your specs. Comment down below how it worked out for you. If you did like it, if you did get a better experience, do subscribe, do put a thumbs up, and don't forget to press the bell icon because it'll notify you every time I give you a good guide like this. Thank you guys and have a great day.